Hi team. I want to share something that might be useful if you have been finding meditation frustrating, if you're finding it's a struggle to remain at peace, centered, grounded in the present during meditation. Perhaps you sometimes find that you've been sat in meditation for 10, 20 minutes, however long it is. You get to the end of it and you realize, hang on, I was just in a stream of thoughts that entire time. You feel like we weren't really getting the juice out of this meditation. It's good to reflect on this, and actually a sense of self-honesty can be really useful. This has really helped me. There are periods of time when I find that I'm just not really getting it with meditation. I'm just not feeling the peace. I don't feel like I'm getting the benefit out of my meditation. The sooner that I can just admit to myself that, okay, there's something I'm not getting here. There's a gap in my understanding, or I just need to shift my perspective, or even perhaps even my attitude. I just need to change something. The sooner I can do that, the sooner we can remedy the situation. We can learn something or put something in place, or just change something, just shift something slightly. And from there, we can develop our own practice further. Everyone's going to have a very different practice. It will just develop over time. And the sooner we can just say, okay, something's not quite working. Because we're tempted to say, oh, therefore meditation doesn't work for me, right? We often go to that. Well, I just don't feel like I'm getting it. Well, therefore, I guess it just doesn't work. No. We are committed to finding inner peace. We are committed to a life free from anxiety, free from stress. That's why we're doing this meditation. We can't just go to, meditation then just doesn't work, or it just doesn't work for me. Why don't we just, if something's not working 100% for us in the meditation, maybe there's just some adjustment needs to be made. That's all. That's it. And so one minor adjustment that might help if you have been finding it frustrating in meditation. And I've been through this one. So when I learned this, there was a massive shift. Definitely a key turned in the door when I learnt this very powerful principle. And this is the principle of start where you are. It's very powerful. So if you're finding meditation a bit frustrating, a bit stressful, and when you sit in meditation you find yourself in a bit of like an internal battle, an internal struggle, you're just in a kind of an argument with your own mind, what we can do is first just understand exactly what's happening. If we can just understand the precise mechanism for exactly what's going on there, then we can begin to remedy that situation and smooth that out. There could be a few different reasons why that little mental battle starts, but this could be one of them, and this is a very common one. So often when we come to sit in meditation, we are doing so because we are trying to get away from our current state of mind, and perhaps body as well, but primarily mind. We're trying to get away from that. The chaotic thoughts, the negative thoughts, the unpleasant images and mood that's in the mind. So we come to sit in meditation like, I'm going to get into inner peace in order to get away from all this that's going on in my mind. It's perfectly logical, it's rational and reasonable. It's very unpleasant. We're trying to get away from our mind. Of course we are. And yes, ultimately, That is the aim. That is the goal. That's what we're trying to achieve here. But what can happen on a very subtle, very fundamental level is that we are accidentally setting up an adversarial relationship with the mind. And that is why a sort of argument starts to form. That's why we get into a struggle in the mind. Because we're attempting to either avoid the state of mind, resist the state of mind, repress the state of mind, or distract ourselves from the state of mind. And sometimes doing that can actually make things worse. Not always, right? But sometimes that can make things worse. So if you're finding meditation a little frustrating and challenging, and we're just not seeming to get it, just check. Because if that's happening, then there is something we can do about it. As the old saying goes, what you resist persists. And we do have to acknowledge that ultimately, yes, we are trying to we're trying to remedy this psychological discomfort. We're trying to come to true inner peace, serenity, tranquility, free from this negative state of mind. Ultimately, that is where we're going. So it's not like you've done anything wrong by coming to sit in meditation and try to... You've recognized that you are suffering from what's going on in your mind and you want it to end, right? There's nothing wrong with that. That's the right approach, absolutely. It's just practicing this vigilance and this discipline. So if you've noticed that there may be something in that, as I've been speaking now, you might think, there might be something in that. Then try, as you come into meditation, when you sit to meditate, the very first thing you do is a sense of total and complete acceptance. A sense of whatever is present in the here and now, that is the reality of the situation. That's where we're at currently. As I say, this has been incredibly useful for me, because I was coming into meditation when I was going through a lot of anxiety, depression, stress, and even alcohol withdrawal. Okay, I was trying to meditate with all that going on. And if I'm trying to get into a battle with all of that, to force that away, to force that out of the mind, suppress, resist, avoid, and it's too much. And the noise, the confusion was a lot. But upon learning this sense of, okay, let's just see what we got here. Let's just see what we're working with. This is a beautiful way into your meditation. It's just a sense of, all right, so you've set this 10 minutes, 20 minutes aside. Beautiful. You've set this time aside. Now we're going to just sit, and the very first thing is just to fully accept every single thing that is in the here and now. And don't do anything with it to begin with. Whatever your meditation practice is from there, it may be different. You may be in more of a tantric approach, or a Advaita approach, or a Zen approach, or a whatever. Okay, there's many different approaches. But if we begin, rather than immediately sitting in an attempt to get away from what's going on, just beginning by sitting in an attempt to accept what is going on. So anything in the external or internal world, just beginning with, okay, that is present. This is the here and now. This is the reality of the here and now. This is my experience in the present moment. I may not like it. I may be suffering somewhat. It may be very unpleasant. I mean, you may come into meditation and you're thinking, I can't really meditate today. My thoughts are just too chaotic. There's too much there's too much noise outside. There's too much going on in my environment. It's just not a good day for it today. If you come into your meditation with that going on in the mind, it's crucially important to just recognize that's your entry point into your meditation here. Now, this is really interesting, crucial, very profound. This is very liberating. Even those thoughts, so you've just sat down and your primary thought is, I can't really meditate today. Recognize that you are conscious of that thought. And you are conscious of that thought in the present. So even though the thought is, I can't meditate today, you are still present. You must be present and you must be conscious in order to have been aware of that thought. Even thoughts that are completely contrary to meditation. Thoughts that are unhelpful and not conducive to meditation. Thoughts that seemingly are preventing us from finding presence. But hang on. If I'm aware of my thought, if I am experiencing that thought, okay, so just checking. Am I aware of that thought? Yes. Am I experiencing that thought? Yes. So therefore, am I present to experience that thought? Yes. So am I present? Yes. And right there, we've just created that gap. Just created enough space, despite the fact that the thought, perhaps even the mood, perhaps even the circumstances, the environment that you're in, everything was completely opposed and seemingly standing in the way of your meditation through that power of a true inclusion, the power of accepting what is, saying yes to what is, but choosing to be conscious and present to what is in the reality. We are beginning to do a powerful transmutation on even our own stress, on even our own anxiety, our own thoughts that previously seemed to be a barrier to presence. The key here is just that awareness. So you sit to meditate and something ain't right today, okay? You're like, thoughts are just a little chaotic, just feeling a little stressy. It's just whatever it is, okay? Whatever's going on in the mind, whatever's going on in your life. Could be, I know, there's so many things that could be going on. But just beginning with a sense of this too, just this, this too, this too, this too. Bring it in, be aware, experience, awareness, awareness, awareness. Now, because we're bringing that experience close, we are accepting that experience. We're accepting even our own thoughts as the first step into that meditation practice. There's no adversarial relationship there. There's nothing to argue with. There's no more resisting. We're not fighting anything. We're not trying to avoid anything, not trying to repress or bury anything. So whatever is there in the experience, accept, 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 allow, 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 this too, this too, this too, just this, just this, just this. And you'll find that if you can just introduce that into your first minute of meditation, you'll be able to progress into whatever the main focus of your usual practice is a lot better. You'll be able to lock in a lot better, because there won't be anything sort of at the back of your mind whilst you're trying to do your, let's say you're trying to do your mantra meditation, or you're trying to do more one-pointedness, or you're advitering, or maybe it's like a netty, not this, that sort of stuff. Whatever your practice, and by the way, all meditation styles work perfectly, so they're all good. But I found for me, it was when I reconciled this conflict with my own experience, something changed. I realized that just because I'm feeling anxious doesn't mean I can't meditate. Just because I'm depressed, just because I have a lot going on, just because I'm going through alcohol withdrawal, all of that. Reality is reality. Meditation really is just becoming aware of reality. We find peace by being the awareness that is aware of reality without being too mixed up in the content of the experience itself. But reality just is. And it's this just isness that is so peaceful. So peaceful. No longer trying to fight. No longer trying to change. No longer trying to constrict. No more attaching, but also no pushing away. Just what is, just is. It just is. There's nothing to be done. Just leave it and observe. But part of that just leaving it is accepting it. Reality is already here. So whatever you come to sit with meditation with, whatever you come into meditation with, it's already here. It's here. So just awareness and acceptance. Just this, just this. This too, and this, and this. And from there, there's just that space begins to open up. And now we have our step in. Because if we didn't know that, we didn't know to do that, we're going to sit and then we're going to force and try and focus attention. And it's a strenuous thing to try and kind of force yourself into that meditation for that 10, 20 minutes. And then in terms of how powerful the sort of the transmutation effect is of this, the transformative effect, because things like stress and worry and anxiety and uncomfortable states in the body and mind are so immediate. It is so unignorable, because pain is like that. You just cannot ignore it, right? That means even unpleasant states of mind, anxious and stressful states of mind, they really focus your attention. Because they're so intense, because they're so vivid, those states of mind draw your attention right in. And so now we're actually using that anxious thought, that stressful thought, as the focus point that will laser focus your attention into the present. again, if you're experiencing something, you must be experiencing it in the present moment. You cannot experience something in the future or the past. You can predict the future and experience imagination about the future. You can experience a memory, but both the imagination about the future and the memory of the past are thoughts that arise in the now. So if you are experiencing thoughts, they are happening now. And particularly negative and painful thoughts, they are very difficult to ignore, right? They are right there. Intense, vivid thoughts. Great. That's our starting point. Something wants your attention. And if it wants your attention so bad, just let it rip. Fully there. Attentive. Thought. I am experiencing a thought. I am aware of that thought. Now don't get involved in the content of the thought. Just be aware of the thought. So here we can transform even stressful states, a busy environment around us, a lot going on in the mind, transmuting through acceptance. We're starting where we are. I am aware of the here and now. I may not like the here and now. The here and now may be very uncomfortable. The here and now may contain things that are even very painful. Nevertheless, if nothing else, we are still present with it. Presence, presence, presence. Now we might come to, well, okay, but I am accepting the here and now, but isn't the focus of meditation to kind of alleviate some of this stress and anxiety? Well, the acceptance of what is starts to neutralize. It's just, this is what I'm offering here, is this is a good entry point into your meditation. Personally, I wouldn't just sit in that acceptance for then the entire time, because yes, we are trying then from that point to kind of alleviate this suffering. We are trying to get to this inner peace. So I start with that acceptance, a sense of going towards whatever the experience is, and then just exploring the awareness of that experience. And the inner peace is found through this shift then, to stop being so involved within the experience and just recognize you are the awareness of the experience. That's where the inner peace is found, but that'll be a video for another day. I just wanted to just share. It's quite a simple principle, but remarkably powerful. Let me know if any of that's been useful, beneficial for you. Just whack that one in the comments. If any of it is useful and beneficial, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And channel memberships are available. I've always got to remind about that. Thank you so much for watching, team. Take care. Be well. Stay present.